They said no human had ever been recognized by a royal-class alien command system. They said it was impossible. They said the flagship could not be fooled. And yet, the moment Warren Cross stepped onto the ship, the entire vessel went silent. A second later, it called him authorized bloodline. No one breathed. Not the alien guards. Not the station AI. Not even Warren himself. Because deep in space, above Haven Station, something ancient had just made a decision that should not exist. Haven Station floated between trade routes like a tired giant, always busy, always watching. Every species in the sector passed through its corridors. Every language overlapped in endless translation noise. Warren Cross hated attention. He was just a technician, a repair specialist, the kind of human who fixed broken systems no one understood and left before anyone remembered his name. At least, that was the job description. Until today. Docking clearance granted. The station AI spoke flatly. Warren adjusted his toolkit and stepped toward the shuttle bay. Through the massive viewport, the ship waited. Queen Lyria's flagship. It didn't look built. It looked grown. Smooth metallic layers curved like petals of a living flower. Blue light pulsed beneath its surface like veins. The ship moved slightly even while docked, subtle, like it was breathing. Something about it made Warren's skin tighten. That's a royal vessel, a passing alien muttered. No one without lineage access is allowed near it. Warren frowned. Good thing I'm just fixing a navigation glitch then. The alien gave him a look like he'd already died and hadn't noticed yet. The docking bridge sealed behind him. 2 alien royal guards stood waiting. They were tall, elegant, almost unreal. Armor like liquid silver, eyes reflecting soft starlight. Their presence wasn't aggressive. It was absolute. Technician Warren Cross. One of them said, "That's me. You are expected by Queen Lyria." Warren blinked. That sounds like the beginning of a very bad day. No reaction. Of course not. They escorted him forward. The moment he stepped onto the flagship, everything changed. The air wasn't just clean, it felt structured. Like reality itself had been organized into smoother patterns. The walls curved in organic geometry, glowing faintly as if responding to his presence. Warren touched one surface. It warmed instantly. The guard snapped. "Do not interact with the vessel." "Right," Warren said quickly.
Sorry.
"No touching the living spaceship." "Got it." Living ship. He looked again. Because that was the only explanation that made sense. The corridors led deeper, bending in unnatural symmetry. Gravity shifted gently beneath his feet, adjusting like a quiet hand guiding him forward. Warren couldn't stop analyzing. Biological integration system, neural lattice control, reactive material architecture. This wasn't technology. This was something that had evolved with engineering layered on top of it. And that scared him more than anything. Finally, the doors opened. The command chamber stretched like a cathedral carved from light. At its center hovered a crystalline core, rotating slowly, surrounded by shifting star maps and floating holographic interfaces. And there, standing like the center of gravity itself, was Queen Lyria. She looked almost human. Almost. Her presence was calm, controlled, but heavy with authority that made even the air feel disciplined. Her eyes studied him like he was a problem that shouldn't exist. "You are the technician," she said. Warren nodded. "And you are the person whose ship is currently acting like it's haunted." A pause. One alien officer shifted nervously. Lyria didn't. Instead, she gestured to the core. "We are experiencing irregular navigation harmonics. Our engineers cannot resolve the anomaly." Warren stepped closer. "So, you called the guy who fixes broken weird things?" "Yes. That's fair." He connected his data pad. Instantly, numbers exploded across his vision. And then he saw it. Command authorization layers. Genetic lock signatures. Voice resonance mapping. Warren frowned. "This ship doesn't use passwords," he muttered. "It uses biology." Lyria tilted her head slightly. "Only royal lineage may issue primary commands." "Of course it does," Warren whispered. He began diagnostics. "Okay, stabilizing harmonic drift, rerouting neural feedback." The moment he spoke, the ship reacted. The crystalline core flared. Lights surged through the chamber. And every navigation display corrected itself instantly. Perfect alignment, perfect balance, perfect control. Warren stopped. I didn't do that. Silence. Then alarms that were not alarms, more like attention signals, echoed softly. Lyria stepped forward. Repeat what you said. Warren swallowed. I was talking to myself. Speak again. That's usually the part where things get worse, he muttered. Still, he spoke. Run secondary alignment protocol. The ship obeyed. Immediately. Without hesitation. Every system synchronized as if it had been waiting for him. A soldier whispered. It accepted him. Warren stared at the console. No, he said slowly. That's not possible. Then the screen changed. A new label appeared next to Queen Lyria's authority signature. Second primary authorization detected. Warren's blood went cold. Okay, he whispered. That's new. The ship hummed. And somewhere deep inside its structure, something ancient woke up. The moment the words appeared on the console, the entire command deck changed atmosphere. Not visually. Intentionally. The flagship reacted like something inside it had just opened its eyes. Warren took a slow step back. Okay, he whispered. I would like to officially say I don't like this. The alien guards immediately raised their weapons. Queen Lyria did not move, but her gaze sharpened. Explain, she said calmly. Warren pointed at the floating interface. That. I did not authorize that. And I definitely did not request my name to appear next to your royal access key. The display flickered again, as if responding, as if listening. That was the moment Warren realized something terrifying. The ship wasn't just reacting to commands. It was reacting to him. Lyria stepped closer to the core. Systems confirm dual authorization, she said quietly. This has never occurred in recorded royal lineage history. Great, Warren muttered. So, I'm either a glitch or a very expensive mistake. One of the guards spoke sharply. No outsider can share royal command access. Warren raised a hand. I completely agree with that statement. The core pulsed. A soft harmonic tone echoed through the chamber. Then, every holographic star map rotated at once. Perfect synchronization. Perfect alignment. Perfect obedience. Warren didn't even speak. He just thought about stabilizing the drift. And the ship responded. Instantly. Lyria noticed. Her expression shifted for the first time. Not fear. Calculation. Do it again, she said. Warren frowned. That's usually a bad idea in every universe I know. Again. He hesitated, then sighed. Fine. He looked at the interface. Stabilize orbital lattice variance. The flagship obeyed, so fast it felt like reality snapped into place. A deep vibration rolled through the structure, like a satisfied breath. The lights brightened. The ship calmed, as if it recognized something familiar. Something ancient. Warren backed away slowly. Nope, he said. Nope. I've seen machines malfunction before. I've never seen one get excited. Lyria studied him carefully. You are not registered in our genetic royal archive. Good, Warren replied immediately. Because I'm pretty sure I would have remembered that. A pause. Then she said something that made the entire room freeze. Your harmonic signature matches partial segments of royal command lineage. Silence hit like a wall. Warren blinked. Come again? Lyria raised her hand. A new projection appeared. Genetic strands. Waveform structures. Bioacoustic resonance patterns. And then, another set appeared beside them. One labeled, Royal Lineage, House Lyria. The second label blinked. Unknown human ancestry match, 41% core alignment. Warren stared. That's not a thing, he said slowly. It is now confirmed, Lyria replied. The ship pulsed again. Harder this time. Like it agreed. The guards began to shift nervously. One spoke. Your Majesty, should we isolate the technician? Warren raised both hands. I support that decision, by the way. I vote yes. I volunteer. Lyria ignored him. Her eyes stayed on the data. This signature predates current royal dynasty records, she said. Warren frowned. How far back are we talking?
She paused.
Then answered quietly. Before our species sealed contact with humanity. That word hit the room harder than any weapon. Humanity. Warren laughed once. It came out wrong. Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there. Because humans don't do ancient alien royal bloodline stuff. We do paperwork and broken machinery and bad coffee. The ship hummed again, but this time differently. Lower, slower, like a memory waking up. Suddenly, alarms flickered, but not from danger. From recognition systems activating. The flagship's core expanded its light, and a voice, synthetic, ancient, layered in multiple harmonics, echoed across the chamber. Harmonic Concordance ancestry detected. No one spoke. Even Warren froze. Lyria turned sharply. That protocol is extinct, she said. The voice continued. Primary safeguard condition. Human royal resonance confirmed. Warren stepped back. Okay, I don't like how your ship is saying my species like it's a file it forgot to delete. The core brightened. Images formed in the air. Not data. Memories. Alien and human engineers working together. Ships being built. Genetic mapping sequences intertwined. Then war simulations. Then emergency protocols. Then silence. Lyria's voice dropped. This system was built to recognize humans as fallback command carriers. Warren blinked. Fallback for what? The ship answered before she did. Civilization separation event. Anticipated. A chill ran through the chamber. Warren slowly turned to Lyria. Did your ancestors expect us to fight? She didn't answer immediately. Then, yes. The entire flagship suddenly locked its systems. Doors sealed. Light dimmed. Gravity stabilized into a controlled stillness. Warren swallowed. Okay, he said carefully. Just to clarify, I walked into a royal ship for a minor repair job and now I'm part of a backup apocalypse plan? Lyria looked at him. For the first time, something like uncertainty crossed her face. Yes, she said quietly. The core pulsed again. And this time, it didn't feel like activation. It felt like recognition. Like the ship had finally identified something it had been waiting centuries to see again. Warren Cross, human technician, and, apparently, key to a forgotten interstellar inheritance. The lights shifted, and deep inside the flagship, something began unlocking. The flagship didn't just unlock. It remembered. A deep mechanical hum rolled through its structure, but it didn't feel mechanical anymore. It felt like a giant waking up after centuries of forced sleep. Warren stood perfectly still inside the sealed command chamber. I want to be very clear, he said slowly. I fixed cargo scanners last week. I should not be inside a spaceship that is having an emotional awakening. No one laughed. Not even the ship. Especially not the ship. Queen Lyria watched him carefully, as if any sudden movement might rewrite reality itself. The system has entered concordance recall mode, she said. Warren frowned. That sounds like something you should never activate accidentally. It is not meant to be activated at all, she replied. A pause. Then the ship spoke again. Not through speakers, but through the entire structure. Human royal hybrid lineage verified. Warren closed his eyes. Okay, he whispered. I need to stop being right about things I don't want to be right about. The floor beneath them shimmered, then shifted. The command deck changed shape. Walls unfolded like petals opening after centuries of darkness. Hidden structures emerged, older than the current architecture. Layers beneath layers. A design buried inside itself. Lyria stepped back slightly. This is not standard flagship configuration, she said. Warren looked around. Yeah, I've noticed your ship keeps revealing new personality traits every 5 minutes. Then the projection returned. But this time it wasn't data. It was history being played back. A vast scene formed in the air. Human engineers standing beside alien architects. Both species working on massive starship cores. Both linking biological signatures into a shared command network. Warren watched in disbelief. That's humans, he said quietly. But they didn't look like soldiers. They looked like engineers. Builders. Designers of systems that bent physics into harmony. Lyria spoke softly. The Harmonic Concordance was not just an alliance. It was an integration protocol. Warren pointed at the projection. And then what happened? Because I'm guessing it didn't end with group hugs. The projection shifted. Emergency alerts. Broken communication lines. Ships separating. Systems locking down. And then, silence. The flagship vibrated again. Not aggressively. Emotionally. Warren didn't like that he was starting to think of a spaceship as emotional. The core dimmed. Then expanded. Separation event. Incomplete resolution. Lyria stiffened. Incomplete, she repeated. Warren rubbed his forehead. That's never a good phrase in any language. The ship continued. Primary safeguard. Human ancestry required for reactivation. He blinked. I'm sorry. Required for what now? The system responded instantly. The entire command deck lit up. And suddenly Warren was no longer standing on a bridge. He was standing inside a decision space. A place where command authority wasn't spoken. It was validated by existence itself. Lyria stepped closer to him. You are not just compatible with the system, she said carefully. You are part of its original design logic. Warren shook his head. I'm a technician. I fix things. I don't originate systems. The ship pulsed, then projected something new. A single phrase written in both human and alien script. Concordance, key bearer, designated. Warren stared at it. No, he said immediately. Absolutely not. I reject that title. The ship did not respond. It simply waited, like it had been waiting for centuries for someone exactly like him to say exactly that. Lyria studied him. You are resisting command integration, she said. Yes, Warren replied. Very strongly. The ship emitted a low harmonic tone, almost amused. Then the alarms changed. Not warning alarms. Recognition protocols. Across the entire flagship, systems began awakening in sequence. Lights along the walls turned from soft blue to deep gold. Navigation systems expanded into full-scale galactic mapping. Weapon systems, long dormant, briefly flickered online before powering down again. Warren stepped back. Why is it turning everything on? He asked. Lyria's voice was quieter now. Because it believes the concordance is returning. Warren turned to her sharply. And is it? She hesitated. That hesitation said everything. Suddenly, a new voice appeared. Not the ship. Not AI. Something older. Layered with multiple harmonics, like several voices, speaking through one memory. Welcome back, concordance designation human. Warren froze. That's not comforting, he said. The voice continued. Authorization required for full system restoration. A pause. Then, bloodline match confirmed. Lyria turned sharply to the core. No. That is not possible. The concordance seal was irreversible. Warren pointed at himself. I agree with her, by the way. The ship ignored both of them. The core expanded brighter. And suddenly, Warren felt it. Not physically, but mentally. A connection forming. Like something was gently pressing against his thoughts, not forcing, just offering alignment. He stumbled back. Okay, nope, stop that. The connection tightened. And for a brief moment, he saw it. A future. Not his. Not hers. A unified fleet spanning stars. Human and alien ships moving together. But also, conflict. Fear. Resistance from other species who would not accept what this meant. Then it vanished. Warren gasped. I just saw something I didn't agree to see, he whispered. Lyria looked at him sharply. What did you see? Warren swallowed hard. I think your ship just showed me a future where humans either become the bridge or the trigger for another war. Silence fell again. Thick. Heavy. Real. The flagship stabilized. The lights dimmed slightly. And the voice returned one final time. Concordance, key bearer. Awaiting final choice. Warren stared at the core. Then at Lyria. Then at the sealed doors of the command deck. I was supposed to fix navigation drift, he muttered. He exhaled slowly. And somehow I ended up being asked to choose the fate of interstellar history. The ship hummed softly, waiting. The entire vessel held its breath. Even the stars outside seemed quieter. And Warren Cross, just a technician who wanted a normal day, was now standing at the center of a decision that had been waiting centuries to be made again. The command deck did not move, but everything inside it waited. Warren Cross stood in the center of a machine that had once helped build civilizations and might now decide whether they survived the next era. The flagship's core pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat, like it was waiting for him to answer something no one had ever asked him before. Queen Lyria stepped beside him. Her voice was calm, but no longer distant. "You are the Concordance keybearer," she said. Warren shook his head immediately. "I'm a repair technician. I fix broken systems. I do not become systems." A pause. The ship responded anyway. Designation: Human key is active. The lights across the chamber brightened slightly. Not threatening. Not forceful. Expectant. Warren looked up at the floating core. "You keep saying key," he muttered. "But keys open things. I don't even know what you're trying to open." The ship answered instantly. The entire command chamber shifted again. Not violently, but like reality was adjusting its posture. A new projection unfolded. Not history this time. A sealed construct. A vast interstellar network of dormant systems spread across multiple star clusters. And at the center, a locked synchronization barrier. Lyria's eyes widened slightly. "That is the concordance grid," she whispered. Warren pointed. "And I'm guessing that's the locked part?" "Yes." The ship's voice echoed again. "Concordance grid, disconnected for 312 standard years." A pause. Then, "Reconnection requires human authorization signature." Warren let out a slow breath. "Of course it does." He turned to Lyria. "You're telling me your entire ancient system, your flagship, your empire's hidden infrastructure, whatever that giant glowing puzzle is, was designed so a random human technician could turn it back on?" Lyria didn't correct him. That was worse. "It was not random," she said quietly. "It was planned." Warren laughed once. "It came out tired." "Yeah. That's usually what people say right before something explodes politically." The ship pulsed again. Softer this time. Almost patient. Almost understanding. Then something changed. A new layer activated inside the core. And suddenly Warren wasn't just seeing the system anymore. He was connected to it. Not control. Not command. Recognition. Like the ship wasn't obeying him. It was listening with him. His thoughts brushed against its architecture. And for a moment, he understood it. Not in words. In structure. The concordance wasn't a weapon. It wasn't even a defense system. It was a bridge between civilizations designed to prevent total collapse through forced isolation. But it had been shut down. After fear. After conflict. After humans and aliens stopped trusting each other. Warren pulled back sharply. "You built a backup system to keep us from destroying each other," he said quietly. Lyria nodded once. "And now it wants to restart." The silence stretched. Warren looked at the projection of the locked grid. Then at Lyria. Then at the ship that had somehow decided he mattered. "Okay," he said slowly. "Let me get this straight." He raised a finger. 1. Humans helped design this. Second finger. 2. You erased it from active history because things went bad. Third finger. And 3. Now I'm the guy holding the reboot button. The ship responded. Confirmed. Warren exhaled. That's insane. Lyria stepped closer. Her voice was quieter now. If you activate the concordance grid, it will reconnect all remaining harmonic systems across known space. Warren frowned. And if I don't? The ship answered for her. System remains dormant. Interspecies fracture continues. Warren nodded slowly. So either I turn it on and risk chaos or leave it off and guarantee division stays permanent. The core pulsed once. Like a nod. Warren rubbed his face. I fix broken cargo scanners, he muttered. Not galactic history. A pause. Then he looked at Lyria. And you're sure I'm the only one it recognizes? She hesitated. Then, at this time, yes. Warren let out a long breath. Fantastic. He looked back at the core. It glowed softly now. Waiting. Not demanding. Trusting. That was somehow worse. He stepped forward. The entire command deck reacted immediately. Systems stabilized. Harmonic lines aligned. The grid projection expanded in anticipation. Lyria did not stop him. She simply watched. Warren stopped just before the interface. "You know what the worst part is?" he said quietly. No one answered.
So he did.
"I didn't ask for any of this. I just showed up to fix a navigation glitch." He looked at the glowing interface. "And now I'm being asked to restart something that decided whether civilizations ever stopped hating each other." A pause. Then he smiled faintly. Classic Tuesday. He placed his hand forward. The moment he did, the ship reacted, but not like a system receiving input, like a memory finally completing itself. The concordance grid lit up across space. Distant systems awakened. Dormant relays activated one by one. Across the galaxy, forgotten bridges between species flickered back to life. The flagship hummed deeply. Satisfied. Relieved.
Alive.
Warren stumbled back as the connection released him. "What just happened?" he asked. The ship answered softly. "Concordance grid. Reconnected." Lyria stepped beside him. For the first time, her voice carried something almost like awe. "You didn't take control," she said. "You completed an unfinished agreement." Warren stared at the glowing stars outside the viewport. "I really hope there's paperwork for this," he muttered. Outside Haven Station, nothing immediately changed. Trade continued. Ships moved. Aliens argued over docking fees. But somewhere deep in the network of stars, something ancient had begun to wake again. A system built on trust between species that had forgotten how to trust. And the first human it accepted was the last person who ever wanted power. Warren Cross looked at Queen Lyria. "So," he said slowly, "do I still get paid for fixing the navigation glitch?" Lyria studied him. Then, for the first time, she smiled slightly. "I think," she said, "your job description has changed." The flagship's light softened, not as a machine, but as something finally at peace. And far beyond the station, the concordance began to sing again.